Hey, everybody. It's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update. And you know, we have had an amazing swing back into the green. The overall market cap did slip below 2 trillion. It was at just 1.8 trillion, with the Bitcoin dominance sitting around 51% at the time of this recording. It's been really very volatile, but I want to talk about sentiment. Sentiment is by far a driving factor of price movement. Even the best technical analysis can't fully predict price movement because of two simple words: fear and greed. Both exceptionally strong emotions that dominate this crypto space. The announcement of the Biden administration to increase the capital gains tax rate, which is currently set at 20% for most assets held over 1 year, is now being proposed to jump to 39.6% for people making more than $1 million annually. Since these gains are also subject to a 3.8% Medicare tax, the new rate would be 43.4%. Wow, just sends shivers. So, Tim Draper, yeah, he came out swinging on Twitter. 43.4% capital gains tax might kill the golden goose that is America/Silicon Valley. People need an incentive to build long-term startups of value. And in California, that would be a 56.4% tax burden. 50% spells death to jobs creation. And then he appeared on CNBC and talked a little bit more about it. Have a listen.
Well, I just think, what are they thinking? Because actually higher taxes tend to lower revenue. So right now they need a lot of revenue. They've been printing money. And if you bring in higher taxes, it lowers the motivation of the people. If you are working towards some goal, or you're a startup and you're saying, I'm going to build something of great value, and then you realize the government takes more than half of it. You're working through July before you even have started to work for yourself, and that motivation starts to dwindle. And it's a little like, I mean, South Korea versus North Korea. South Korea, you've got a wonderful democracy, a free market, a capitalistic system. North Korea, you got a socialist dictatorship where the government tells you everything that you want to do. The more you get toward North Korea, the worse things get, because the average, it's been a 70-year experiment, and the average South Korean makes 460 times what the average North Korean makes, and that's including purchasing power. And the average South Korean is now 4 inches taller than the average North Korean. That socialist system does not work.
Well, he feels pretty strong about that. And Kramer did also weigh in. Just 10 seconds. Listen carefully.
Let's get our heads around this right now. It still needs to pass Congress, and I'm betting Biden doesn't have the votes in the Senate.
So he doesn't believe Biden has the votes in the Senate. But should a tax hike occur, I agree with Ryan Selkis, and that is rare for me. He says that investors are going to turn to DeFi. Have a listen.
And Ethereum are obviously your bellwethers. But if you think about this capital gains issue, one of the unintended consequences might be that more capital is locked in this crypto ecosystem long-term and medium-term. And ultimately, that's going to be to the benefit of this entire new class of assets that are referred to as DeFi assets, essentially being able to borrow against existing crypto holdings rather than sell them and trigger taxable events. You might have structurally higher interest rates. You might have a better tax setup to invest in those assets and those protocols and that ecosystem versus taking money out of the equation. So I still think that there's a lot of upside in this market, and we're just seeing the very tip of the iceberg. Just need a little bit more of a long-term holder base and long-term mindset.
I agree. And XRP holders who will receive the Spark token, they're going to have a chance to participate in that passive income. It's all very exciting. All right. The cryptocurrency exchanges in Japan, they always are promoting campaigns, and that is the marketing promotions to attract traders. For example, DMM, you can win up to $100 in a lottery. Huobi gives out $10 gift certificates if you refer a friend. Rakuten will give you more Rakuten points. BitPoint will give you $30 in TRX, which is Tron. And OKCoin is going to hand out Amazon gift certificates. But let me give you a new promotion that was just announced by SBI. SBI VC Trade is going to give up to 100,000 yen worth of XRP. That is nearly $928. And you can do that through the application and then trade in Bitcoin, Ethereum, or XRP starting Sunday, April 25th, and it goes until May 17th. And you'll see that this particular press release that went out has a stair-step amount of benefits depending on how much you trade. So you can trade as little as 5,000 US dollars and receive XRP, or if you go to the maximum amount and trade just a little over 300,000 US dollars, that is when you can reap the XRP rewards of 100,000 yen, or nearly $1,000 worth of XRP. The people who have the accounts on SBI VC Trade will then be granted the digital asset in their account by the end of June. That is what I call a campaign. All right, we are jumping to the fluff, everyone, and we are going to talk about an area in Japan that's very close to Tokyo. It is in Chiba, just east of Tokyo. It doesn't take but 90 minutes to get there. And during the Edo period, which was 1603 to 1867, this was the hub for growing rice. And also, it had these amazing canals which allowed the shipments to travel all the way to Tokyo, which was called Edo at the time. So this merchant town of Sawara, it is very much the same in terms of how it looks as it did 200 years ago. To access it, you do have to get on one of those small local trains from the Chiba station. But if you want to get a taste of the old Japan, Sawara is wonderfully treasured, and the buildings are well cared for, keeping that Edo atmosphere. If you actually come in June, you can see the 1.5 million irises that bloom from those canals. You can take a trip. But this is what I really want to talk about, is the small trains, the local trains that go into these remote areas throughout the country. And since the work from home changes were made, many of Japan's small privately run railways have really been hit hard with this declining ridership, many of them on the brink of bankruptcy. One such line has just 10 stops, and its length is only 6.4 kilometers, and it runs in Chiba. This is one of the adorable stations that is on that line, just stuck in time. And the many private rails, they have been very inventive to try to maintain their cash flow. This is the one that is so cute, Moto Choshi Station. Look at that inside. It's just absolutely priceless. But they have been making and selling sweets and crackers, and these packages are sold by the local railways and supported, and do definitely help a lot of their cash flow needs. But you won't believe what they began selling. They are selling canned railroad stones. These are the stones that were used more than 30 years ago. They're rounded. The country has gone now for all the railways to a crushed rock, and it's not very beautiful, and they're kind of jagged. But these old round stones are then washed and waxed, and depending on the size, you don't know exactly how many you're going to get in the can, but they have prepared them for the sales of people who just really are nostalgic and also have this good heart to help these private railways survive. They collaborated, the Choshi Electric Railway collaborated with 2 other private railways, and they sell the set of 3 for $16 US. I think it's great. Talk about thinking outside the box, or maybe I should say outside the can. Yeah, I think it's really just wonderful that people are able to be so creative. All right, everybody, do take care. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.